bleh, I feel like I'm going to burp. There it is.
That was like...
That was a really...
kind of like a...
had body.
Like a cannon. Like...
A cannon burp?
Yeah, if that's possible.
Okay.
Cue burp on demand.
Yes.
Ew. Whoa.
But if I do it too much, a little throw up comes up.
Yeah, if I feel like I force it, I'm going to throw up. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Around the Mic here on SoJO 1049, where we kind of delve into topics we don't have enough time to chat about on the air.
Head first, baby.
I'm Heather DeLuca.
Hello.
It took me a second to think what my name was. Is that
It
bad?
happens.
Oh,
No.
gosh. Joined by Mike Richmond and Social Spring, of course, of the Mike Show. We just figured out that the two of them can burp on demand. And when I try, I get a little throw up in my throat.
He's going to do it again.
Oh,
Nice.
God.
Spring.
Nice.
That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Always blame it on someone else. Oh, my God. Okay.
I would
have
totally
to put
fully take claim of that.
Bleh.
Can you burp the alphabet?
No.
Can you
We'll
fart on
practice.
command?
I can't do that.
No.
Only out of fear that I won't
No, I don't
stop
think I
at a
can.
fart.
Oh. It will. Oh. Gotcha. Okay. Hold on.
Can you fart the alphabet?
Can you fart I bet you there's somebody out there that
Maybe
can.
after like some Mexican food.
Hey,
Sure.
if you've got some skills, we want to know about it. Okay, I have two topics based on research studies that I saw, and one's more serious, one's got a little more levity. I can't really decide which one to start with, so you guys pick.
The first one.
Oh, I was going to say B.
The serious one.
Always the opposite.
Serious. Yeah, let's go serious one.
Serious
Okay.
one? Okay.
There's too much
So-
fluff in the world.
I agree.
Considering we started this podcast talking about our ability to burp on command, then yes, I think we should. We'll swing to the other end of the spectrum. Okay, the Wall Street Journal reported this week that there is a shortage of electricians, carpenters, construction workers, and other blue collar jobs that are driving up building costs. So, my question, especially to Mike, because you're raising two boys, is: are we in a culture that looks down on blue-collar practical jobs and enforces, college and degrees and, making money, different kind of jobs, lawyers, accountants? If your son wanted to, I don't know, be an electrician, if he wanted to go into a trade, would you initially be supportive of that, or would you steer him towards higher education?
Yeah, there is a lack of tradesmanship nowadays. You know who Mike Rowe is? He's the dirty jobs guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, is he the brawny guy? He's the brawny guy.
And he
I like him a lot.
Sort of got in trouble, but this is one of his platforms where he encourages kids when they graduate high school not to go to college, to learn a trade.
I agree.
Go to trade school because
Yeah.
it is so needed. And you look at what builds cultures. You got to have somebody who can plug stuff in, who can fix things.
HVAC, like people that can do, HVAC.
Yeah.
Fix your, like plumbers that can fix your
Right.
dirty jobs, like you said. Like,
Yeah.
it's upsetting to me because I feel like auto mechanics, even like people who decide to go to cosmetology school,
They're looked down upon, and it's
like
really
medical
sucky.
assistants and stuff. You always see those types of commercials geared towards a specific demographic, and I mean, my gosh, I think at the end of it, when I'm no longer in radio, I have to think like, what have I picked up really along the way? I mean, my glowing personality and my sexy looks are only going to get me so far, and they're fading as we go.
She's modest.
But
Well, you mentioned my boys. I explained to them when like the garbage truck comes around once a week, and I tell them, I says, because they're like, ooh, it
Right.
smells
That's always
bad.
the initial reaction.
Yeah, and I said, but that's such an important job.
and it's
someone
a
has to do
well-paying
it.
job.
Yeah.
It's a very
it's a
well-paying
well-paying
job.
job. I'm sure it is not fun.
No.
But
And I explained to them, is if it wasn't for the garbage men, we would have no way to get rid of our trash, no place to put it, where to go, it would pile up. And it's a tough job. It's not a glorious job, but it's a very important job.
Right.
but those
to
jobs
have.
will always be needed.
Right.
See,
That's
that's
the
the
importance
thing.
of it.
Is that students are graduating college in enormous debt, and there aren't enough jobs for them. Meanwhile, there are now jobs that need to be fulfilled. Clearly, there's a shortage, which is driving up construction costs and
Yeah.
and all of that. But the our roads are always going to need to be repaired. There's always going to need to be buildings that need to be renovated, strengthened, or built up from scratch.
Now, I wonder if that boosts their salary because they're high in demand, since there's not too many of them.
Sure,
It's
yeah.
supply and demand. You want me to do this?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to charge you this.
And
I think that's what they're saying. The Wall Street
that's what's
Times
happening with my brother right now. My brother's 19, and he was never into going to school. Not that he didn't, but now that he's graduated, he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to spend money on college, because he doesn't want to go to college, and then something happens where he's like stuck in debt and he doesn't end up finding a job.
Follow in your dad's footsteps and maybe go into law enforcement?
No. I can tell you that now. My older brother, yes, because my older brother ended up in the military, but my younger brother, no. So right now he works as a porter in a building, which isn't a trade. You don't need to go to school for it or anything. But he's trying to figure out what to do, and I did suggest a trade school for him because it is a really good option to have just in case.
You know, I'm surprised I actually didn't get into something more like that, because when I was a kid, even my own parents would make fun of me because I would watch PBS on Sundays because I love to watch This Old House with Bob Vila, and I love to watch him build stuff, and he was so good at explaining the process of like building a house that I became totally fascinated with that. And I wish that was something that I knew how to do. If I can hang a picture straight these days, like that's about the extent of my skills. And, you know, I wish I could make something with my hands, fix something with my hands.
I know, I definitely
My
can.
dad was really good. I've got a friend of mine named Don who is useless when it comes to making anything. Like when Don,
I know Don. Shout out to Don.
When Don would come on over, he goes, "Where'd you get this cabinet?" I says, "Oh, I made it." He goes, "What do you mean?"
Yeah,
So
that would be my same reaction.
He goes, "How'd you make it?" I said, I figured it out.
Well, for example, the bar in your backyard,
Yeah.
I mean, you crafted that, essentially.
And Don goes, "How? I wouldn't even know how to begin to do it." I said, "Yeah, get some wood, you start cutting it." You know, he goes, I just don't. I don't. Yeah, there's just some people who aren't handy, and there are other people who are handy. My dad did go to college. He got his degree in journalism, but he's very good with music. He's taught himself how to play 4 or 5 instruments, and he's very good at building things also. I mean, he built a cabin with his own hands. Literally, he sat down with a T-square paper and figured everything out mathematically, and went out, got the wood, and made a cabin in the backyard.
Did you say a cabin?
Yes. Yeah.
I just had to double check that without any like schooling or education.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
his
that is
mind just works that way.
awesome.
I'm obsessed with that. Like my friend John, he is a police officer, and he wanted a boat, so he built himself a freaking boat.
There you
Like
go.
I am not telling you like he built a fiberglass boat. He built like a from scratch wood boat in the driveway of his house, and it took him like 2 years. It was like Noah's Ark, but he built it.
Wow.
And then his wife started like an Etsy business that's very successful now. She makes like custom-made dog and cat collars and leashes and things, and he built her from scratch like a little sewing barn in their backyard, so she has a dedicated space to do. Like I'm like, why do you know how to do this? Like you're a cop, you know,
Right.
you're pulling people over every day and like wrestling criminals to the ground, but hey, he can figure this out, and it just comes so naturally to him.
There's certain things you're born to do, and some things you get paid to do. And
gosh.
you know, sometimes those two things, you know, mesh, and then you know others, it's sort of a hobby, I guess. But yeah, I think it's important.
So at the end of the day, if the kids came to you and said, "Dad, look, I really don't. I mean, I don't see this happening, but if they came to you and said, you know, I really want to be like an electrician or a carpenter, would you support it?"
I can't imagine them doing that. I can't even get them to put their clothes away.
Oh my God.
They're supposed to empty the dishwasher once a day, and they whine and complain at that. So I don't know. I think I'll be doing my own electrical repairs for a while.
Okay.
But it wouldn't be a bad thing if they told you that.
No, absolutely not. Like you said, there's longevity in it, and I think there should be more importance put on it.
What if they
emphasis.
told you that they were going to take a gap year?
Ooh.
Oh, that's a topic for a whole other day.
I would
Because I
advise
tried
against
that with my own father, and it was just like me joking with him, and the blood vessel that I saw pop in his eye.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I wouldn't go for that because I've been there. I thought about that right after I graduated, but then I think you would lose too much momentum.
I think it depends
You
on
wouldn't
the
want to go back.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person I would lose momentum. No, I would lose momentum. I'm like, I kind of like.
Yeah, I'd
not
probably
being
work
there.
at the mall for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Oh my
Not
God.
that there's anything wrong with that.
Or you would take, or that gap year would turn into about 10 or 15 years, and then you would,
Yeah.
and then you would finally want to get the desire to learn back again.
Yeah, and it
And
might
you
be
wanna
too
go
late.
do
at
But
that
I'm
point.
wondering what would I have chosen if I took a gap year, like if I had the time, because I
Like,
was
what
telling
would you have done with the year?
not that like when I actually returned to college, would I have
Oh.
done things differently? Because
Oh, that's a good question.
when I was a sophomore, because my school didn't offer film, like film studies, they offered TV and video production, which is my major. I was so upset about that I was intending on transferring, and then I just decided as a freshman going into sophomore year that I would declare history as my major. And then from there, like I could just transfer over.
Did you stand on a corner somewhere and go, I declare history?
I know where you're getting that joke from, and the sad part is I did do that in the middle of LaPenta's, in the middle of LaPenta's lunchroom, and I told my friend, and my friend goes, sit down, you should not do that, go into TV and video production, and that's why I'm here.
There you go.
So I'm wondering if I took the gap year, would I have ended up in a different school, in a different path?
I don't
Kind
know.
of an interesting thought.
Yeah, it is.
Don't you wish, as grown-ups now, we could take a gap year?
Yes.
Just to like,
I think they call those sabbaticals, right?
Yes.
is that
How
what
do
they
we
call?
take a radio sabbatical?
Yeah, can we? Can we just take?
I always
like
love when professors say that. I just came back from sabbatical. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, did you?
That we need to
Yeah.
go
Oh, did you?
explore the world so
I
that
need
we
to
have something to bring back.
find myself. I'm
And they
gonna
always
go.
write a book during.
I'm gonna go horseback riding in Argentina for a year
Why not?
With a-
Go for
Shirtless?
it.
with a bottle of wine. No, it's like I'm imagining it being chilly, southern part of Argentina, so it's gonna be cold.
Okay. All right, we're moving on.
Wow.
Did you have anything interesting?
Yeah, talking
to
about
chat
Argentina. So, for whatever reason, my topic of the day, and by topic of the day, I do not mean on the podcast. Usually during the 9 o'clock hour of the Mike Show, I'm sitting here Googling the most random things. So last week, it was about Anastasia's imposter, Anna Anderson, and how she managed to lie about like who she was and pretend to be Anastasia and fool the
Like,
public.
are you talking Romanovs?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
The Russian royal
Yeah,
royal
yeah.
family.
That's what I was
No, I just
Googling
was
last
putting
week.
Anastasia into context.
Right.
Make sure.
So today, it was all about Adolf Hitler.
Uh-oh.
Yes. So my question.
wait a minute.
What?
The German dictator.
Yes.
Okay.
That exact one.
Just making sure.
The one and only. Because I was reading a story about this man in Central Jersey. His name is Isidore Heath Campbell.
Oh, this whack job. Yeah.
Right. And he just recently changed his last name to Hitler.
Legally. He got it
Legally.
legally changed.
And his name is now Isidore Heath Hitler, and the initials are IHH, so it could also equal I Hail Hitler.
Great.
So upon reading that, I'm like,
And he's from New Jersey?
and he's from New Jersey. I'm
Another
like,
shining example.
wow,
of the
what a
Garden
whack
State.
job.
Great.
So decided to Google Adolf Hitler and like, how is he able to do this and influence so many people? Yada yada yada. So I'm on Wikipedia. You know, Wikipedia offers pictures, and on the side was the cutest baby picture of this evil human being. He's an evil human being.
Baby picture of Hitler.
A baby picture of Hitler. And the
Okay.
only thing I thought was, if I had this baby in front of me right this second, like I am back in 1889, he's right here, and I knew of all the atrocities that he's going to do in the future, but he's a beautiful baby boy. Would I have the power? Would I be able to basically kill this baby?
You hold its nose, you put it underwater, and that's that.
What's remarkable about, and I've seen this photo that you're talking about, even Adolf Hitler as a 6-month-old still had that little
Right.
mustache,
Oh my God.
that little tiny mustache.
You could
He came out with it.
Photoshop a little one and it would look just like adult Hitler.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
got
But
the
his
comb over
his
and everything.
cheeks are so chubby. He has like not like they're dark eyes, but they look light in the photo, and he looks like an innocent baby.
I think everyone would say, knowing,
Right.
you know, what the atrocities that he visited upon this world, that, I mean, that's like, yes, 100%. You would find a way to
Would you really
rise above it and do it.
What if this was
However,
your son?
but we didn't live through that, so we don't know, but did history have to go through that in a way to somewhat unite the world, to somewhat build up allies for the United States. Like, I don't know. These I'm getting way like existential about things, but like we don't know.
We became united during World War I, though.
Yeah, but I think from a territorial standpoint, but from a humanitarian standpoint, I think the world became, united against what
evil.
Had been, evil. It's a philosophical versus a territorial, thing. So, I mean, 100%, I guess I don't know if this makes me as horrible a human being. Yeah, I would take him out. Even if he was mine, I would take him out.
It would take a lot out of me to do it.
Maybe.
It really would.
I think we should put him in therapy, and it would probably change him.
I don't think so.
At that point, would we definitively know that he would do this?
Yes. So in this scenario, you are from the future, like you're from present day, and somehow you managed to be in the past.
So there is no way that through raising him differently that he would change.
That just all depends on your theory of fate and destiny, though.
See, because
like, do you think people are in control of their destiny, or is the environment
he
that
had a
influences their destiny and fate?
Amount of hate for his father, correct?
Yes.
Right. I think if in this scenario, if I had the ability to raise the child differently, I think he never would have turned out that way to begin with.
Or was he born innately evil?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know.
Because they described him as being a very happy child until his brother died of measles, and then from there his attitude completely changed. And then on top of his
I think his mom died when he was young too.
Yeah, on top of his like horrible relationship with his father, everything just became worse.
And he was a failed artist also.
And he was a failed artist.
Yeah.
So was Walt Disney too.
Yeah, but
Walt
at what Walt
artist.
Disney did instead.
Yeah.
You hear like, these stories of some of these school shooters, these younger kids who felt like failures, like outcasts, and they go to extreme measures, to punish other people for their inadequacies. I think it's I don't know if it comes down to the way you're raised or just how you're born.
I think it was just his environment in general, because then he got really heavy into nationalism, and at the time Germany was so weak after World War I and the Versailles Treaty.
Right.
So with that all combined, it kind of seemed inevitable that would happen.
Would you do it then? You asked me and I gave you my answer. What would you do?
You know what? The minute you said to just like kind of hold his nose and like let it go that way, I didn't think of a peaceful death. I have no idea why.
You thought of it violent.
Just gonna feed him to the pigs outside. Like, oh my God.
So I guess like
I didn't think of that.
I didn't think of a peaceful death for a baby. I have no idea why. So yeah, I guess I would be able to do it. No, I'm like, oh, okay, he's drifting away.
Just send him back to from which he came. Mike?
Yeah. No.
And why is that?
Because I think I would be interested to try to, raise the child differently.
Okay.
And
Mike thinks he can
just imagine the bizarre
rehabilitate
instance if he had never had those just horrible circumstances and bad influences in life. Can you imagine if the world would have completely changed and if he had had a glorious upbringing with the money available to him, the success needed, and what if he became a tremendous success in a positive way in the world?
Cool. Let's write a book. The good Hitler could have done.
I mean, he could have
worst selling book ever.
The worst.
He could have reversed everything else that was going on in Germany at the time versus just kind of adding fuel to the fire.
He was, I mean, you look at those speeches. He is filled with anger.
Oh my God. And energy.
Filled with anger and one-track mind. But there is a very small man and a very a person with little to no self-esteem inside of him.
Oh, without a doubt.
Jealousy and rage and okay. Yay!
Okay, so 2 for killing the baby and 1 for let's try to save him and give him
raise him better.
Raise him better.
I mean,
right.
I mean, I could always go to the second choice if things don't work out later on.
What's the second choice?
You know, what you guys chose.
Oh.
Yeah. There's always time.
I
Just in
just
case.
I imagine
if it doesn't
Mike
work.
Yeah, just in
sitting
case
back
if
and watching him, and then all of a sudden just like darting out poison into his neck. Like,
done.
I tried. He goes back to the present day.
So what's going?
I gave it a good 10 years. Wasn't working. I was wrong. My bad.
That's not funny. All right.
Is it? Here's my question, and I think you both will enjoy. I know Heather will definitely enjoy this one.
Ooh.
And I can't wait to hear her answer. Is it okay to drink alone when your significant other is asleep?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Late at night.
Why not?
Little Di Serono Amaretto
Oh.
on the rocks.
Oh my. she's
Watching My
going there.
Housewives.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Why is drinking alone considered a socially unacceptable thing to do?
Because we as
Why is that?
humans should not be alone. Like, it's not okay. We
no,
thrive off like
because
others.
I think like if you see somebody sitting in a bar and they're by themselves, they're not socializing with anybody else. They're knocking back like straight alcohol, or you see them sitting at a bar by themselves from like open to close.
Hey man, I'm thirsty.
Right.
And he's like he or she doing nothing but drinking from morning to night, meeting no one, socializing with no one. That's a sign, could be a sign of a problem. But that's all relative to, you know, any kind of alcohol. My mom would say, I don't have a drinking problem. I have a problem with drinking because when I do, the moment sweeps me away and I just
right.
have a good time. I'm like
Well, what
Kim
about-
Basinger
What
from
if they're
Blind
having
Date.
fun and they went to the bar by themselves?
Yeah. What? Not even
Like,
drinking
not even
to
in a
excess.
negative way, right? Like,
Yeah,
they're just
not to
like
excess.
one
So
martini.
you think there's
Yeah.
been a negative stigma about drinking alone?
Oh yeah.
I think
And why
drinking
is that?
alone, going out by yourself, a lot of negativity
I
around
have
it.
to say most of my drinking that I do is alone, and it's just because I usually wait till the kids go to bed at night. Karen maybe at work or something like that. Man, I'm just sitting down. I'm gonna have me a bourbon.
Now, do you do anything while drinking, or do you just kind of sit there and think back upon your day?
It depends. Usually don't do anything. It's just a relaxer. Sometimes if I'm in a creative mood, I'll either paint or something like that with a bottle of something.
I've had bad days and like my husband's not home yet and I just feel the need I'll just go home and crack a bottle of wine.
And you would do
Probably
that
not
by
gonna-
yourself. You won't call up a girlfriend and say, "Hey, why don't we go out for
Yeah.
cocktails?" You would
No.
simply do it by
Go
yourself.
home and open the bottle
Right.
of wine.
Is it always a red one? Red wine?
It's 9 times out of 10. If it's past 5 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a red wine.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to like calm myself down and
That's
relax.
what I thought, yeah.
White wine, you know, during the day, but you know. Sometimes, yeah, Sundays if I'm home alone and it's really, really nice out, and sometimes my husband likes to go and play basketball with friends, and we have this like nice breezeway where the breeze just comes in, and I sit in my chair, I'll get my book, and yeah, I'll have like a nice crisp glass of like white wine or whatever. And here's where I think it becomes a problem is when you're hiding it. I did have a relative that passed away from cirrhosis of the liver at 38 years old. Okay, very young. And he was drinking a fifth of whiskey like every day before his wife got home. He would drink, you know, a 12-pack of beer to the point where he either blacked out or walked into a wall. My grandfather used to, you know, sit with me and my brother, like when he would watch us, and he would, you know, pour a little bit of scotch into a glass and say, "Oh, you know, I have to do this I got to do this now before your grandmom gets home." Like when it starts to become a thing where you're hiding it from other people, and it's, you know, if wife Karen wakes up in the morning and she sees like you've hidden a fifth of bourbon, you know, underneath trash in a can or something, and she didn't know you drank it, you would have to explain yourself. I'm sure if she saw one bottle of beer, she would know that like you just had a bottle of beer, like after mowing the lawn or doing whatever. I think when it becomes a point where you're hiding it, or you're going places where no one knows you, you're going to drink alone at bars where no one knows you just so that you can do it by yourself, That's when it becomes like a problem, I think.
From that perspective, I could understand
That's where the
that.
stigma may have come from. You're drinking alone because you're hiding it.
Yes. But as far as like, look, it all comes down to how you handle your liquor and the reason why you're drinking it in the first place.
See, I took that question in a completely opposite direction. I took it as, well, there was an instance 2 to 3 weeks ago that I went to a club by myself. I met up with my friend there, but usually when girls go out, they bring other girls to the club because you want to go as a group. No, I went by myself, and my friend immediately tells me, oh, wow, that takes a lot of confidence to come out to the bar by yourself. And I'm like, I'm just trying to have a good time. I don't see why I have to stay home because I have no one to come with me.
I like to drive my own car so I can leave when I want.
And that also, right. So I feel like there is a lot of stigma with just hanging out by yourself and drinking by yourself. But if it's something like that, then that's actually a problem.
Yeah, I was at a bar in Montreal, and I actually traveled to Montreal by myself.
See, that's something I would have to build up to. That takes a lot.
And I sit down there. I pick somewhere sort of in the middle, just so I can observe what's going on. And it didn't take long. I was like a few sips into my beer, and they noticed, oh, you're here by yourself? Oh yeah, what are you doing? No, I'm just in town. All of a sudden, a conversation strikes up. And I actually find that if I started drinking by myself in public, I usually wind up with like 3 or 4 new friends.
Yeah, but you're that person. That's why I say, if you see somebody at the end of the bar who's there by themselves and not doing that, it raises a red flag for me. That's all. But I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think that women especially get different looks at a bar when they're by themselves than guys do.
Now, what kind of looks?
Like, not ever from the bartender, because that's usually who I wind up talking to, but other people. And then, you notice like a group of guys in the room, or if like 2 guys are together, one of them eventually will come over and like try to buy you a drink. Like, I'm just here having this drink. It happened to me at Tomatoes in Margate. I was meeting someone. She was running extremely late. She was coming from New York. It was starting to become embarrassingly like tardy. But
there were 4 empty martini glasses around Heather.
No, you know what? The lights were low. They had a nice prosecco on the menu that was on special. I was catching up on emails. Like, I think the phone makes it totally different. By the way, you're really not by yourself anymore when you have your like tablet or your cell phone. And I was just enjoying it. The lights were low. It was really nice. And it was after work on a Friday. It'd been a long week, and I was just enjoying myself. And of course, it's like I was like, oh, like, is anyone sitting in the stool next to you?
I hate that question. I don't like when they take the stool away from me.
Yeah, they take the stool.
At that point, the stool is kind of my company, and we're in it together. So can you
like
please
if my
leave
handbag's
it there?
on it,
Right?
Oh, are you alone?
Yes, I am using that stool. Please leave it.
I just think girls get different looks than guys do.
Okay. I like doing things by myself. It's a problem at this point.
I go to the movies by myself. I eat by myself.
Isn't it lovely?
I don't care.
It's nice.
If I want to go somewhere and no one's around, I just go.
I try not to use my cell phone during, because I feel like it's like a crutch. Like, you don't want to feel alone.
It's nice to have sometimes, though.
So what I do now is that, like, I'll bring a book or something.
Yeah.
But if I don't have anything, the only question I have, especially for you, since you went to Montreal by yourself, did you like what did you do with your hands? Like, did you just hold your drink? Did you, like, if someone looked at you, did you avert your eyes? Or did you look at them head on? Like, did you do the whole, I just caught you looking at me, so you kind of look down and you look back up to see if they're still looking at you?
I'm an observer, so I'm always looking at things.
And you're comfortable with that?
Yeah, I am. Usually, the first person to break the ice, and when I got there, the bar wasn't terribly crowded to begin with. It was like,
that would make
like
me
5
feel
o'clock.
uncomfortable.
And so the bartender was the first one to ask, so you got, are you here? Are you have somebody else expecting somebody or something like that? So no, just here by myself. And then the conversation starts, and somebody over there hears the conversation, and where are you from, and all that thing, and it bounces around. I dated a girl who literally could not go anywhere by herself.
See, that
I have
drives
a
me
friend
insane.
like that.
She said, oh, would you go with me to the mall? And I said, oh, I can't. I got to work this afternoon. So she would get on her phone and she would call her girlfriends, and if she couldn't get any of them to go with her, she would stay at home. She would stay at home.
See, I don't understand that. I have a friend who's just like that. Not to that extent. Like, if she can't find anyone, then she'll probably still go out. But she has to have someone with her.
Yeah, I have a friend
everywhere.
that says, I would never. And I'm like,
Oh, you
what's
gotta
the
get
big
out
deal?
there. Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Speaking of relationships and socializing in a way.
What
This is my other study.
Okay.
The one that I said was a little more lighthearted than how we started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is flirting with someone else actually good for your relationship? Can it be?
Say yes.
Yeah, so a new survey came out recently saying that flirting can actually help a marriage or a relationship that you're in because it kind of keeps you in practice. Does that sound crazy? So is it okay to flirt with someone else if you're in a relationship?
You can't ask me. For one reason, I'm single for a reason. Second, I'm a flirt. I like to flirt. So in my head, even if I'm in a relationship, light flirting is not a big deal to me as long as I don't get your number, as long as I don't cross boundaries. Flirting to me is not that big a deal. And also it creates like healthy jealousy. If that makes any sense. That makes any sense at all.
Yeah, what's the end game in your flirting? Is
Nothing.
it just to be nice? Is it just to
No.
be nice and a little more than friendly and fun with the person,
It's like
or
an ego booster.
or do you have a motive, and that motive is to get with that person?
No.
Oh, well, that's a totally
Usually
different
no.
Yeah.
For me, when
there's-
I'm flirting, if I'm in a relationship, it's not to get your number or anything.
friendly-
It's just kind of like
friendly flirting's fine, which is hard to say. Try friendly.
Right, 'cause
Friendly
the
flirting.
person may
Friendly
not even be
flirting,
attractive.
fine.
You're just kind of flirting with them, and you're not even sure why. It just happens.
It's easier to flirt with some people who aren't that attractive.
You think so?
Oh yeah, because there's no fear of being shot down.
Have you ever flirted
Whoa.
with a flirt, and it's just like you're in a flirting competition?
It's like a dog chasing its tail.
Yes. It's just like, I can out-flirt you. No, I can out-flirt you.
That's like
I have met my
me
match
and
once.
someone else in this building who will remain nameless, but he knows who he is.
I know who it is.
So that's really funny. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm on the fence about it, but like it's just in my nature. Like I think I came out of the womb batting my eyelashes. Like it's just I think we discovered this week in like our digital meeting, like I'm a touchy-feely person. I just am like, oh, like
See, I'm touchy-feely,
I can't help
but
it.
only with men. And that is a huge problem. And it was because of that reason that my mom, when I graduated 8th grade, said, you're going to an all-girls school because if you bring home a child, it's just not happening.
Yeah, like I think I had
So I
my
was, like,
first boyfriend
away.
at 4. Like, and I'm talking like serious, like you're mine, I'm yours. Like, let's write love letters. Like, it was serious
phrase-
emotions from day one.
My phrase has been boy crazy since 99 because
you-
I still remember my first crush.
Could you flirt with like a movie star, good looks guy, model,
Yeah.
movie star
Yes.
looking guy?
It depends on my confidence
Springs-
level that
Spring
day.
says yes.
Well, now we're talking flirting skills, and
Yeah.
I
See, because I could never flirt with like a Victoria's Secret model.
yes, you could,
I'd
because
be
you
too
know why?
intimidated, I think.
Confidence
Yes, you
levels
could.
that day.
No, because
maybe
flirting
today.
also is how I get over my social anxiety sometimes.
Yes.
Oh.
Like I will just like I won't know what to say, so I'll just be like, "Oh yeah," like you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's I don't know how to act in public, so I just immediately try to turn on the charm.
See, there was one guy that I perceived him to be a lot more attractive than I was. And if it's not if you're more attractive, it's if I perceive you to be more attractive than me, that I could get somewhat nervous about flirting with you.
But does it become a challenge at that point
That-
to see if you
that's
can
what
get
happens.
them to
So-
reciprocate a little?
At my old bar, we would have guest bartenders. So it was my friend's birthday. I was not working. This guy had no idea that I actually worked there. And I thought he was hot. He was like, you could tell he was a soccer player. He had a beard. He had like a nice body. And I'm like, I'm going to get his number by the end of
Was he
this.
physically attractive, or did he just have an attractive confidence?
Both.
Yeah.
This guy is not even from this planet.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Wait, be quiet.
The type.
So usually my opening line, if I find a guy attractive, is first I ordered my drink. And then I went over to him and I was like, what's your name?
Yeah, I get, yeah.
And I asked him what his name was, expecting just for him to say it. And I kid you not, I could have fallen in love with this guy just because usually when I introduce myself, my name is Spring like the season. And he told me his name was Remy like the drink before I even got to use my line.
Yeah.
I almost fell on the floor. Remy like the drink. And he had like a sexy, deep voice.
Oh, no.
We ended up making out in the bathroom.
Okay, well, that's good. That's the best you can hope for.
That's still in the realm of flirting? That's with the making out in the bathroom?
That completely crossed. And I was single.
Okay.
I was single. That is different. That was single.
But can you see
I'm single.
the research in... I know you say it creates like a healthy amount of jealousy. I'm not about like even like flirting in front of your partner.
Oh, no,
That
I would
can
not do
almost
that.
be like a little dangerous.
I would not do that.
It's been known to happen just because like that's how I am.
Making out in the men's room or the women's room?
Are you asking me?
With a guy named Remy. Yeah, why not?
Which was it? Which bathroom was it?
Which one do you think it was?
The guys.
Yep.
Yeah, the guys. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they'd kick. He wouldn't be able to stay.
Only because I knew the woman in the woman's bathroom. Because, you know, in bars, they always have the woman to hand out the towels and the candy. And I just didn't want to make eye contact with her.
Oh.
I knew who she was. I didn't want to do that.
Oh. Proud of you. But do you think it can actually be good to just keep your like...
Keep your juices flowing?
Yeah. And then because like maybe then you go home and like... Does this circle back around to our conversation last week about guys going to gentlemen's clubs and then coming home and like rubbing off that kind of like sexy energy onto like the person that they go home
honestly,
to?
You say
It
rubbing
does a
off?
little, doesn't it?
I would say so. Definitely. Because there was one time when I was dating my boyfriend that I had gone out to like a college party and there was a cute guy there and I didn't do anything. But then when I saw my boyfriend later that night, it was kind of like, oh, I'm happy with what I have type of thing.
Oh.
So it worked out that way. And also I got to brag that I flirted with a really hot guy while being in a relationship.
My husband's like a really bad flirter.
Is he?
Like really bad. Like I will be laying it on thick and he won't even pick up on the cues like at all. Like at all. And I'm like, what the hell?
I'm not good at flirting either, or picking up on flirting now.
Oh my gosh. Like,
I feel like
you
guys
would be
generally are worse.
he would be a tough nut to crack.
Mike?
I don't even know where I would start with that. But
You would have to ask Karen.
But yeah, I don't know.
I don't even think she would know.
But like so I think sometimes it's fun to like when you get near somebody that
Someone who's able to flirt. Yep.
Yeah, that they kick that ball back to you. You know, it's like it becomes like this thing. It exercises a part of you that maybe is like a little dull.
I think only flirts understand what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I could be overtly flirty. I think it would probably just come out in humor. I might just make jokes. That would probably be the extent of my flirtation.
Okay.
It would just
That
be,
works.
Well, that's good too. I
Yeah.
mean, that's like my brother's jam is like he just
Using
makes
humor.
girls laugh.
Yeah, that'd
Yeah.
probably be about it. Shirtless, of course.
Oh,
Riding a
but
horse.
not in Argentina,
In
because it's
Argentina.
a little too chilly.
I'm like, no one could see my face. The face I just made right now. I just realized that. Right.
All right. Well, do you think flirting is actually good for a committed relationship? Let us know. Leave us a comment. Check out the blog that comes along with this podcast once it goes to SoJO1049.com. This is Around the Mic. If you like what you hear, please go to iTunes and TuneIn Radio and give us a good rating. Mike will say a rating of any kind is better than no
I'll take it.
rating.
Even if you hate this, just please.
Oh my God.
Just lie and say that you do. You can hear Mike Richmond and Social Spring of the Mike Show weekdays at 5:30 to 10. I'm Heather DeLuca, and we will talk to you next week on Around the Mic. Bye.